Coming up on this weekend's broadcast, farmers and others try to put it back together after the terrible storms. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this weekend's broadcast. Alongside me here, Mike Pearson blew in from somewhere.
It's good to be in the studio, Max. I tell you what.
Winds have been brutal out there. It was somewhat reminiscent of derecho, but...
It was. A lot of folks in Iowa were concerned when they saw that storm moving across the state.
No standing crop in the field. That's a big difference.
Yes,
certainly,
it is.
By all means. But we want to go to Kentucky and visit a little bit with a farm broadcaster friend of ours, Alan Watts, with whom we check in from time to time, because we know you have a good grasp of what's happening in normal times, and now with the tragedy right there in your backyard, we wanted to talk about the ag effect. I drove through there just hours before the storm, and it was just remarkable. The air had this feel to it. A farmer friend of mine commented,
yes, it did.
It doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm. You know, you can sometimes feel weather coming, and we saw this tornado, and our crew here at the radio station, we do a great job tracking weather, doing weather broadcasts, and we saw it coming out of Arkansas. We thought, you know, surely it won't make it to Kentucky. It travels across Arkansas, the Boothville of Missouri, into western Tennessee, then up into Kentucky, and then over 200 miles on the ground in Kentucky, this tornado did. And boy, it has really taken this a toll on our state.
What have you heard from the farmers? I understand there were some grain facilities took a hard hit.
Yes, Mayfield Grain, Commissioner of Agriculture Brian Quarles, had a chance to visit with him a couple of days ago on the radio. 5 million bushels of grain there impacted by this. It just ripped the tops off of some of the grain bins there. And of course, a grain operation like Mayfield Grain has huge bins. Just ripped the top right off of them, and they're not sure how they're going to unload 5 million bushels of grain out of those elevators. But there was also a hatchery in Graves County for Pilgrim's Pride, for the Pilgrim's Pride processing plant there, and it's destroyed that, just completely wiped it off the map. They're going to rebuild, which is good news. In Princeton, you've heard the Grain and Forage Center of Excellence, UK Research and Education Center there. A couple of years ago, they built the Grain and Forage Center of Excellence, a $13 million project. It's all laying on the ground, Max and Mike. And moved the tobacco barn. There's a dark tobacco barn that Dr. Andy Bailey uses to do a lot of his research on dark tobacco there at the Princeton station. Picked it up off the foundation and moved it over into the field next to the foundation. Just didn't hurt the barn, but just picked it up, moved it off the foundation. And just the devastation, I think, on agriculture, we may not know for a while what the dollar amount is, but this obviously could be the most expensive cleanup operation for agriculture ever in the history of Kentucky.
Wow, it is staggering to see some of those images. Alan, I've been seeing some friends on Facebook, farmer friends, coming together, putting together relief packages to send down to growers in Kentucky. Have you started to see help arriving from other places?
Yes, we're already getting help. I talked to the Commissioner of Agriculture. They've gotten help, and our county extension offices here in Kentucky are really the key point. And it's fencing supplies. It's anything that we may need, fence posts, anything like that farmers may need to get their crops. Thank goodness our crop year was pretty much over with. The only thing in the ground right now, for the most part, is wheat. But farmers who had things such as their cattle running loose out there still today, and just getting some of those supplies in here are vital for our farmers. And farmers are the last to ask for help. And you know how farmers are. You know, they don't want to ask for help. But there are cases across Kentucky here that folks will definitely need some help. It'll take a lot of time to rebuild Kentucky agriculture as a result of this.
You know, that's a really good point. I've seen a lot of folks coming together helping reunite lost pets with their owners. I imagine there's going to be quite the chore reuniting all these lost cattle with their owners as well, Alan.
Yes, I'm sure it will be, because, you know, if your fences were all blown away, in many places they were just wiped off the map, the fences were, your cattle could be miles away from where they were. And I think just the first focus, of course, has been just to make sure everybody's okay, all the people are okay. But farmers are out there now looking to make sure that their farms are okay, reestablishing fences, feed mills. There was 20 some odd feed mills around western Kentucky that were hit hard. And of course, obviously they rely on those feed mills to feed their cattle, and they're where they can rebuild, but it's going to take some time to get those rebuilt as well.
That's a really good point. None of these things happen quickly. It takes time to get everybody's feet back under them. Well, Alan, we wish you the best of luck as Kentucky rebuilds after this catastrophe. Our very own Patrick Haggerty had a chance to touch base with Debbie Stabenow, Democratic Senator from Michigan, as she was preparing to discuss how all of the funds from the infrastructure bill are going to be allocated to different states and organizations.